Hello all, TW here, and as you can see, I can record from my N64 again, and what better way to celebrate than revisiting my favorite game from the system, Mystical Ninja Starring Goemon, in my usual stream of conscious style. I haven't talked about this game since episode 1, which was like 60 videos ago. Man, where's the time gone? If you have never played this game, then allow me to give you an abridged experience of Mystical Ninja. Our basic plot has our protagonists, Goemon and Ibisumaru, tracking down the antagonists, Spring Breeze Dancin' and Kitty Lily, after they had the gall, the nerve, the downright audacity to transform the Lord of Oedo's castle. The bastards. All along the way, our heroes are joined by Yai, a secret agent ninja with the greenest of hairs, and Sasuke, the clockwork ninja, aka an android, like an actual one, not a Dragon Ball Z android. Our final ally is the gorgeous shining mecha, Impact, and yes, Mystical Ninja does indeed feature robot battles. Did I mention that this game was made in Osaka, Japan? No? Well, now you've been made aware. Speaking of good old Nihon, this game was more or less my introduction to a lot of Japanese culture, which means a lot went over my head at the time as a child. I also have a feeling that the incredibly Japanese setting is one of the reasons why Mystical Ninja wasn't all that popular back in the day. Or at the very least, outside my best friend and I, there was no one in my area who had so much as even heard of this game, let alone played it. That is a shame because, well, look at it, all things considered, the visuals have held up rather nicely. You can pretty much tell every area apart, every region has its own look, and some areas are set during a specific time of day even. And that goes for the 5 dungeons in this game as well, referred to here as castles. Each one has a specific theme and they go all the way with them. There is not enough credit that can be given to the programmers who worked on these castles, with special mention going to the gourmet submarine. I must once again say, look at this place! Who would have thought to have combined a submarine and food? These brilliant bastards, that is who! And I can't talk about Mystical Ninja without bringing up its goated soundtrack, which deserves to be on CD, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. You know what? I think it might be best if you were just to hear a few of my favorite tracks right about meow. This game, despite what you may have thought from all of my praise, is still far from perfect, which shouldn't be all that surprising. After all, this is an early days 3D platformer, and oh boy, does that show. The camera, for one, doesn't always cooperate, and on top of that, the jumping physics can be a tad frustrating from time to time, and when you consider that this is indeed a platformer, that is no good. On top of that, this game can be a little cryptic as to what to do next. Thankfully, unlike a lot of games of its era, there is a way around this. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, may I introduce to you the Fortune Teller. With this dude, you'll never be truly lost, so at least that part is covered, but that's only if you're aware he exists. This is where I'll give new players my next tip. Talk to as many NPCs as you can, as it will save you a lot of frustration. Another one, when you arrive at Oedo Castle, grind for money in the first room. You should grab at least a good 1500 Ria for supplies and money gates that the game will throw at you. Not sure how completionists will feel about this game though. The only requirement is to find all of the fortune dolls, which basically act as heart pieces. I only say this because the final castle is a point of no return, and no, this game does not tell you how many you've collected until after the credits. So once again, a tip to new players. Make sure you have all but 2 hearts filled up before launching into space. Yes, the final castle is in space. It actually makes sense in context, kind of, sort of. One area that may irk players is the amount of times you'll backtrack to Zazentown, which is the second city of the game. You'll be going there a good 4 or 5 times, which can be pretty excessive when most towns are visited 1 or 2 times tops. That is nothing compared to Mount Fuji though. You'll only visit it twice, but it's the most tedious part due to both trips being exactly the same. Honestly, this part just feels like filler. Absolute dang filler. Moving to a more positive location, Miss Ninja is among one of the few N64 games to feature fully voiced songs. There's only 3, but that's 3 more than most games of the era, and they're all big bouncy bangers. Now, there is a big reason why I chose Miss Ninja that I have yet to disclose, and that is due to a study that was recently published, which stated that most classic games aren't being properly preserved. If you thought this was among those, then congratulations because you are correct, which is the main reason why I keep making videos about the N64 Goemon games. I really want them to be ported to modern systems. I don't care if it's just a copy and paste, just do it! The main reason why my copies of these games haven't died out yet is due to them using a controller pack to save data instead of a save battery that's actually in the physical cartridge, but it's still only a matter of time until that dies out too. If there's one thing you can take away from this and basically every video I've ever done on this and Goemon's Great Adventure is that these games deserve to be preserved. On top of that, they do much better in today's climate. When the top selling comic book in the world is One Piece, you know times have changed since the late 90s. And that's the video, everyone. I could talk about Miss Ninja literally all day long, but on the off chance that it's ever ported, remastered, or remade, I do want to leave some stuff as a surprise for you to find yourself. Next time, we're still on the N64, and we're still in Japan, but we're heading back into the squared circle. Until then, have a perfect rest of your day.